Hey everyone, and welcome to this Dota 2 guide on the best starter heroes for those of you that are just beginning your journey. I'm Alex and I make a lot of Dota based content, so let's get started. Now, the first thing is, if you just started Dota 2, you're looking at a screen that looks like this, in terms of hero selection, and wow, that's a little intimidating. So what this guide is for is to basically help you to determine which heroes are going to best suit you to get started. These are heroes that, of all the big list of the over 100 that are available in the game, these are heroes that I feel will give you the opportunity to learn the game mechanically, but also learn the game strategically. I'm going to go through each one of these rather quickly to give you an idea as to why I feel these are good choices, and perhaps through my explanation, you can come to an understanding of which one might suit you to get started with. First of all, you'll notice that I have isolated these heroes based on their positions, position 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If you're unfamiliar with this, I'm going to link my hero roles video above, but I also just suggest that you watch my Dota 2 Beginner's Guide series that is currently on YouTube. It's going to give you a very good overview as to what your expectations are in this game, which is incredibly beautiful, but incredibly complex. Let's start with the Safelane carry. The Safelane carry is the hero that is basically, the one you're depending on to win the game. Now, here are 5 that I would suggest. Each one does it a little differently. First of all, you have Juggernaut. Juggernaut is a carry referring to the fact that, they're the ones that want to push to win you the game. Now, Juggernaut is good because, well, Blade Fury has a basic dispel. What that means is that Blade Fury allows you, like if you get, frostbitten by a Crystal Maiden, you could use Blade Fury to escape. You can also do combinations to escape like Blade Fury and TP, so you can get back to base without dying. He also has a lot of sustain through his healing ward, and a passive which makes, well, playing him a little easier, and his Omni Slash has a lot of individual kill potential. He's a great hero with Blade Fury, he can, farm neutrals very effectively, he can clear waves very effectively. He is a great all-around hero, and one that's good to get started with. Spectre is one of the hardest carries in the game. She starts very vulnerable in the early game, but becomes one of the absolute best units to have late game, and one of the reasons for that is Dispersion. Dispersion, once again a passive, reflects a lot of damage back. It is a pretty neat skill. You have Spectral Dagger that you can use to escape, okay, so she has some maneuverability that she can use to, Spectral Dagger through trees, up hills and stuff like that, over cliffs, and, she's an incredibly versatile hero, and what I like about her as well is because Haunt is a global ability. Now, I mentioned earlier that some of these heroes are going to kind of teach you to play Dota 2 in different ways, and Spectre is one of the ones that has you eyeing the map very frequently, because Haunt is going to teach you how to kind of determine methods to kind of be successful from a positioning standpoint and also from a map control standpoint. Being able to isolate vulnerable heroes using Haunt is a very interesting skill. Ursa is really interesting too, because Ursa is a relatively straightforward hero to play. Basically Overpower and Fury Stripes are an iconic combination. And the nice thing about Ursa is, yes, he's straightforward to play, but also he has a lot of game-winning potential, because he can do Roshan very early in the game. He's one of the few heroes that can straight up solo Roshan. So it's very important that you get on Ursa, you get him to 6, you get in there, you enrage in the pit, and you get her done. You get your team the bonus experience, you get your team the bonus gold, and you get yourself the Aegis. Very interesting and very effective hero for one getting started. Faceless Void is also a very great carry. One of the best carries in the game, but also one of the best initiators in the game, mainly because of Chronosphere. Now, Chronosphere is one of the best team fighting ultimates in the entire game. What that means is that playing Faceless Void is going to teach you the fundamentals as to how you can initiate fights effectively. A good Chronosphere can win you the game. It's the difference between climbing MMR and staying stagnant. He also has an escape in Time Walk, which is fantastic, so he has a little bit of escape. He's a strong carry, and he also is one of the best initiators in the game, thanks to Chronosphere. Finally, Phantom Assassin. Phantom Assassin is a lot of fun, simply because she's a great hero. She's got a passive ultimate, right, that allows you to kind of do a ton of critical damage. She has some survivability in Blur. She's very straightforward to play. However, with her, she's tricky because she's very easily countered as well. Blur is countered by Monkey King Bar. In the early parts of the game, dagger is countered by a magic stick. So she can be a little trickier to navigate, but if she is completely farmed up, she's one of the most terrifying carries in the game. A lot of fun to play, relatively straightforward, but still very effective. Let's talk about mids. Mids, the position 2. So you're going to be solo mid lane in the current meta. It's been like that for a long time. Here are the 4 that I suggest. Zeus. Zeus is a very straightforward hero, and that is the reason why I recommend him to new players who are playing mid. Zeus is a straight up nuker. His abilities are all very straightforward, and he also, similar to Spectre, has a global ultimate, and it's very important that you utilize this effectively by communicating with your team and keeping an eye on the map. If you see a vulnerable hero on the enemy team making an escape, and you know your team isn't going to be able to catch them, you can wrath them and take them down. It's one of the best global ultimates in the game, very effective. He's also kind of like, I don't want to call him a one-trick pony, but it's all magic-based damage, right? It's all magic-based damage. So basically, you know, his item builds are relatively straightforward. He's even been played as like a 4, honestly, at times, a position 4. But generally speaking, he's a bona fide mid, and he's relatively straightforward to play, but still a lot of fun. And I feel like new players have a kick with him. Medusa. Medusa is a carry mid. A mid that is designed to like really become an absolutely terrifying threat. And the reason why I include Medusa here is because she has a really, really interesting mechanic in split shot and a fantastic ultimate in Stone Gaze. If you're in lower MMRs or just starting out, people are not going to know how to cope with Stone Gaze. They're literally just going to stare at you and turn to stone. You're going to see it. I'm telling you, people do not know how to respond to Stone Gaze in early MMRs. The other thing I really like about Medusa is the way she itemizes is really interesting with Split Shot, because Split Shot can then use modifiers at level 25, which is pretty interesting as well. So there's a lot of like mechanical interesting things about Medusa that I think a new player might find very interesting. It's one of those heroes in Dota 2 that makes the game really fascinating. All right, and the next hero we've got to talk about is Pugna. Pugna is a ton of fun, and as a mid, he is great for a new player for a few reasons. One, he's extremely well balanced. Nether Blast provides an incredible amount of pushing potential in lane. When you're against newer players, Nether Ward, like, they often forget it exists, and they're constantly getting poked by it during a fight. Nether Ward is fantastic. It really takes lower MMR players by surprise. But the major reason why I think it's good to practice with Pugna is because he represents one of the heroes that have a single nuke, a single hero nuke effect in Decrepify with Life Drain. You basically decrep somebody and hit them with Life Drain. It's a wombo combo, a single hero wombo combo, and it's awesome to practice these kind of combos because there's a few heroes that really benefit from them. Lena's one, another hero that can be played mid if you wish. And at the support side, I've mentioned in the past, Oracle has a lot of combinations and combos to be done as a hero. And so if you're relatively new to the game, the Pugna combo is really straightforward. You decrepify someone, they take increased magical damage, they're slowed, and you also hit them with Life Drain, which is magical damage. You're healing yourself, you're damaging them, they're slowed, and they are basically unable to attack. So they are essentially just walking siphons for you, and they can't get away. And it's amazing combo. You hit him with Decrep, you hit him with Life Drain. It's great. It's a fantastic combination in mid. He's a great hero. He also has one of the fastest natural movement speeds in the game. He's pretty noob friendly, honestly, despite having a minor complexity. It's the coordination and making sure that Decrep and Life Drain are done together effectively. Now, Viper. I love Viper for relatively new players. He is a little different than Pugna. If you jump on top of Pugna, Pugna's dead, right? Viper is very durable. He can survive a lot of harassment, and primarily because of Corrosive Skin. Corrosive Skin gives Viper a little bit of added utility and allows Viper to counter a lot of carries, specifically a lot of the carries like Templar Assassin, who tend to play in mid. He's also extremely effective with Nether Toxin, which applies a break effect, which basically disables passives. And he can be super annoying with Poison Attack and Viper Strike. Nothing is more fun than taking an opposing hero down with Poison well after they run away from you. And they think am I safe? Am I safe? I'm dead, right? Viper is great at that and is truly one of the best heroes in the game at mid, especially if you can pilot him correctly. Now, the off-lane, let's talk about the off-lane, and let's talk about Bristleback. Bristleback is one of those heroes that is very straightforward to play, and Quill Spray will absolutely destroy people. He has a mobility affecting nasal goo. Quill Spray is like the bread and butter of him, and honestly, it's his name, Bristleback. He is a Bristleback, and he's going to release Quill Sprays there. He's truly a fun hero to play. He also has potential to really become a carry. He's one of the position 3s that, like, honestly, can almost become like a position 2 style. Like, if your position 2 is not having a good game, you can literally rest on Bristleback carrying a game. He's truly fantastic and one of the most durable heroes in the game. Very straightforward, very fun to play. Underlord is a little more complex. Now, the reason why I include Underlord here is because, first of all, he has an amazing win rate in the current meta. He has an amazing win rate. But also because he teaches you about zoning very effectively. So the more you play Underlord, the more you realize that positioning is one of the most important elements of Dota 2. And he does that with Firestorm and with the Pit of Malice. Both of these are zone-based skills. Pit of Malice can absolutely punish somebody if they are out of position, right? And also his ultimate, Dark Rift, will allow you to do a lot of interesting things positionally on the map. You can escape, you can initiate. There's a lot of things you can do with it. Usually it's used as an escape, honestly. But Dark Rift provides you with a lot of map awareness. And Entropy Aura is just a lot of fun and can really, really ramp up your DPS as a potential... he's not listed as a carry, but I've seen Underlord do some serious damage with the aura here. It recently got nerfed because he was completely out of control. But anyways, a very interesting hero nonetheless. Slardar, I love Slardar. He's one of my absolute favorites. Much like Bristleback, he can be a little more of a carry. He's relatively durable. He's a good initiator. The key thing here is Corrosive Haze. He really amplifies the physical damage of your other heroes. So if you're with like a Drow Ranger, for instance, having that Corrosive Haze will really amplify the damage capabilities of your team and of course yourself as well, because all your skills are physical based damage. He does a lot of stunning, he does a lot of work, and he's deceptively fast with Guardian Sprint. He's a great initiator with a Blink Dagger, and that's another thing I want to mention here, is that in the off lane, you'll notice that I've kind of paired a couple heroes together here. Slardar, Centaur War Runner, and Axe. All three of these heroes rely on Blink Daggers. Slardar not as much. You can get away with not having a Blink Dagger, but it's part of his build. But the Centaur War Runner here, who's looking very ghostly today, he is going to want to blink in with Hoof Stomp so that he can do that huge stun. 2.6 seconds is debilitating in a team fight. He also has the Retaliate Aura, which can be applied when he gets to level 25. So basically his allies can basically take the Retaliate benefit. Fantastic, very, very, very durable. One of the most durable heroes in the game. He also has, Double Edge that kind of amplifies the amount of damage he can do based on his strength. He is truly a fun hero to play. And once again, another initiator with the Blink Dagger. And Axe is the king of Blink Dagger initiations with blinking in and doing a Berserker's Call. He's truly a fantastic hero. He has a passive ability in Counter Helix, which is a lot of fun to play around as well, so it's very beginner friendly. And Culling Blade will take some practice, but once you get it down, it's a lot of fun, and it's a very satisfying ultimate. All right, position 4. Now, position 4 is a very challenging position because you're in the off lane and you're still supporting, so the pull mechanics are very different. However, there's a few heroes that as a beginner really stand out, and one of those is Treant Protector. The primary reason for this is because Treant Protector is one of the few heroes with a global healing ability. Living Armor can heal units and buildings across the map, and it's truly fantastic. And then you have Nature's Guise, which gives him the ability to kind of get into the trees, get amplified healing and movement speed, and also be in a situation where he's safer. He's safer there. And he can, during the laning phase, he can initiate, he has one of the slowest attack rates in the game, but he hits like a truck, and you can use Nature's Guise to basically really get in there, sneak up on an opponent, and get a big punch on them. Overgrowth is a fantastic ability as well. You often see people go Blink Dagger into Overgrowth so that they can blink in, Overgrowth, basically root everyone in the radius around them, and then let their team beat up on them. You have Nature's Grass, which is a fantastic kind of zoning ability, much like Underlord, and you have Leech Seed, which is fantastic for not only slowing but for providing you with some healing and damage. A very interesting hero in Treant Protector, one that's a lot of fun to play, but none might not be as fun as Skywrath Mage. Skywrath Mage is an absolute blast to play. He's very similar to Zeus in the case that he's a very effective nuker. He has a lot of magic-based abilities. He even has Ancient Seal, which is fantastic because it is a silencing ability, which is extremely valuable in this game. He also has the ability to have Mystic Flare, and his itemization is relatively straightforward because you can go with something called a Rod of Ados, which will basically root an opponent in place, hit him with the Mystic Flare, they can't run away, and it's a complete disaster. He's one of those heroes that is just a ton of fun to play. He is so fun. A really cool position 4. He isn't 2-item reliant. You can get maybe 1 or 2 items on him and he'll be a-okay. You know, if you're going to get greedy, even Aghanim's Scepter. But of course, a fantastic hero, just a ton of fun to play. And relatively straightforward too. He's relatively straightforward to play, although very vulnerable because he has no escape. I'm including Tiny here. Tiny is very interesting as well because he is very tanky. He loves to grow from tiny to massive, right? Look at this guy. What an absolute monster. Look at that tree. Anyways, I love Tiny because he's one of those heroes that even as a position 4, kind of like Bristleback I mentioned earlier, Tiny can almost become one of those heroes that become deceptively a carry-oriented player. He gets some good farm, he gets first blood, a couple last hits, a couple kills. Suddenly, Tiny can become an absolute menace. He has a fantastic combo with Avalanche and Toss. You know, he's just one of those heroes that can become absolutely terrifying. And the nice thing about Tiny, if you're playing him as a 4, once you learn the mechanics of Tiny very effectively, it's not unheard of, and it's like actually it's pretty cool sometimes to see Tiny in something like a mid lane position. He is like his gank, the way he can gank with Avalanche and Toss is truly remarkable. So he's one of those heroes that you can play as a 4, and then if you get very good at him, you can start, you know, experimenting with him in like mid. For instance, and like Lena's like that as well, but he's one of those heroes that, like, you know, you can kind of throw into other positions at a time. Now, Earthshaker I love as well. Earthshaker is one of those heroes that requires a Blink Dagger to be truly effective. He's a top tier initiator because of Echo Slam. I include Earthshaker here because he's a very interesting hero from a team fight perspective. Much like Faceless Void, he has a game-winning ability to win an entire game with a properly timed Echo Slam, Blink Dagger into Echo Slam. It's going to require you to kind of learn the fundamentals of the strategy of the game, but it is one of those things that has an incredible return. Earthshaker is a fantastic hero. You know, you're going to miss some fissures as you get started, but, you know, at the end of the day, he's a fantastic hero, one that's a great offlane support. Let's talk about Position 5. Position 5 is a very interesting one because I think a lot of new players tend to gravitate towards these heroes in Position 5. They think, well, I don't want to carry. I'm new to the game, so I'm going to go in support. But supporting is often just as complex as carrying. Like, realistically, if you're new to the game, there ain't nothing wrong with jumping into the carry position, honestly. But let's say you really want to play Position 5. I mean, it's one of my favorite too. And I honestly suggest Ogre Magi. I absolutely love Ogre Magi. He has a stun in his kit. He has amazing harass potential with Ignite. You make your carries so much better with Bloodlust. And multicast is one of the most fun passives in the game. Is it the most reliable? Absolutely not. But when you see those multipliers going up over your head, it is a wondrous feeling. He is very straightforward to play. He can... And, oh, the other thing about him is he counters things like Crystal Maiden and others that need to channel a bit. Like, Crystal Maiden is going to be very commonly picked in your brackets if you're a new player. Fire Blast will stun Crystal Maiden's ult. So she starts to ult, you just stun her right away, and basically she's useless. So, Ogre Magi, very straightforward itemization as well. He's a great hero to play. He's also very durable and tanky. He has a ton of HP. He's a great trader in lane, which means that he can trade shots with the opposing team and not have to worry about it so much. Great hero. If anything, I'm telling you, if you're starting Dota 2 right now, Ogre Magi is one of the absolute best ones to start with. Jakiro is fantastic as well. He's got... Is that Ogre Magi yelling in the background? Sorry, Jakiro, that Ogre Magi was interrupting there. I love Jakiro because he has a dual breath, so great wave clear. He's got the ability to kind of stun and disrupt you know, enemy movement here. He's got harass. He's got a fantastic you know, ultimate that can do pretty much anything. It can clear waves. It can, you know, do a ton of damage in team fights and things along those lines. He's a very versatile hero. He's very slow and can be vulnerable because he has no escape. But overall, as a position 5, a truly awesome hero, one that is a lot of fun to play. Shadow Shaman I like because he's got a lot of interesting abilities. Much like the Ogre Magi, say you're against like a Crystal Maiden, you could Hex her to stop her ultimate. You could Hex a carry to prevent them from attacking. So let's say the other team has a Faceless Void that's completely farmed up. You can Hex him, right, before he has the opportunity to like beat your team into submission, right? So he also has Shackles, which can be great for ganking. He has Wave Clear in Ether Shock. And most importantly, he has Mass Serpent Ward, which will let you finish towers off and basically push the enemy lanes right to the brink. He's a fantastic pusher. It allows him to take enemy towers, take objectives very well. So Mass Serpent Ward is one of those abilities you always want it on cooldown because it means you're taking a tower, right? It means you're taking an objective, and he's a great hero. He's a great kit. He always feels relevant. Shadow Shaman always feels relevant. Lich is fantastic. He has a great kit. Frost Blast is great. Frost Shield is fantastic. Sinister Gaze can be absolutely detrimental. Like if the opposing team comes too close to your tower, you can Sinister Gaze them into the tower. It's fantastic. And most importantly, though, Chain Frost has a relatively low cooldown and has a tremendous amount of damage potential. It is one of the best ults in the game. It's countered by people staying spread out, but at lower MMRs, as a beginner, you're going to find people kind of clustered up, and they're going to eat Chain Frost in the face, and it's not going to be a good experience for them. It'll be perfect for you because it'll just bounce and bounce and bounce and do a tremendous amount of damage. Lich, a fantastic hero for a starter. He's a great support. He's relatively straightforward. He does not have a lot of item dependency. He's an ideal starter hero as well. Now, I'm including Crystal Maiden here because A, she's my favorite hero in the game, but also because I know a lot of you love playing Crystal Maiden. But of all these heroes here, I put her here at the end on purpose because she, of all these heroes, is the hardest. Her and Jakiro are probably the most difficult. Why? Why is Crystal Maiden the hardest, Alex? It's because she has no escape. She has no durability. She has no health. Crystal Maiden is all about positioning. So, as a relatively new player, you might find yourself in awkward positions at times, and Crystal Maiden, if you're a Crystal Maiden, you're out of position, you're dead. You're dead. There's no running away. You're dead. You're slow. You're weak. You have no escape. You are dead. So in terms of positioning, she's the least forgiving of all of them. But with that being said, she has a global aura, which helps with mana regeneration. You can basically set up kill after kill with Frostbite, and Crystal Nova has incredible harass potential in the lane and the ability to get some last hits on, like, you know, the range creeps and stuff like that. So, and Freezing Field, honestly, I feel like Freezing Field is countered more often than you get a good one off, but still, Freezing Field has like game-winning potential. If you go unchecked, you blink in, and you have a BKB or something like that, you get the Freezing Field off and the other team just eats it, then they're just dead and you win the game. So it has that type of game-winning potential, but again, if she gets stunned, it's over. And she's in a super vulnerable position. So anyways, that is my guide on the best starter heroes. Now, I went through a lot of stuff in this video. I tried to be as fast as I could. Now, one thing I will mention is that I will be doing a video guide, a beginner's guide on each of these heroes in the coming weeks. So be sure to subscribe if you're interested in seeing that content, because there's a lot to learn. I went through them very fast here, but I'm going to be going through them in deep detail in future videos. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and a very special thank you to all of our wonderful subscribers. Take care, everyone, and have yourselves a wonderful day.